Hi Bruce, nice to meet you. Nice to have you for this interview.
Nice to meet you too.
So Bruce, you are the famous voice of the Octagon. You are the official announcer of the UFC. So my first question is, how did you become the announcer of UFC?
You know, I've been in martial arts my whole life since my first judo class when I was 12 years old, on to going into Tang Soo Do and various forms of martial arts, kickboxing, the whole bit. When the UFC came on the scene, it was 1993, and I was just starting to manage my brother's career, Michael Buffer, who's the famous Let's Get Ready to Rumble sports and entertainment announcer. And I was working with him on his career, and I wanted to put him in every form of sports and entertainment there was. And I thought right about UFC 5 that it was getting so big that he needed to be in the Octagon.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically got him in the Octagon, and I lay this out in my book very strongly. I had him do 6, 7, and Ultimate, and then due to a situation we had with WCW Wrestling at that time, I had to prevent him. I couldn't allow him to do any more UFCs, which he probably would not have been able to do them at the rate they were going with all the other stuff he was doing. But I knew that if I was going to announce, which I always wanted to, that's where I wanted to be. Okay. So it took me about a year and a half or more to finally convince them, after working at UFC 8 and doing UFC 10. It was around UFC 13 that we made a deal, which is the best poker hand I ever played, for me to be the announcer.
Okay.
And it was on the set of the TV show Friends, if you ever saw that we did with NBC here. And we co-starred with John McCarthy and Tank Abbott, and it was at the filming of that show that we decided I would announce all the UFCs from that point forward.
All right. So you have just written a new book.
Yeah.
So we can see here. So this is the book on the iPad. Oh, great! So it is.
This is actually my last edited copy that I get to do the final editing, and I just finished. It will be in hardback.
Okay.
And I'm very excited about it. It's got more than you can imagine. I just don't think it's like, oh, I was in the Octagon in 2003, and there was Randy Couture, and there was Vitor Belfort. It doesn't work that way. It's got so much more. It's got sex and violence in it. I hope you don't mind that in France.
No, yeah, it's okay. We love it. So the book is not available. The book is not available yet. That's right. It will be in May.
Yeah, it will be released in the UK in June, in the United States in May, and Canada in May, and I'll soon be announcing a Brazilian publisher, and also it will be released in Australia. But you can go to Amazon.com, I understand, in France,
yes,
and you can pre-buy the book if you can read English,
yeah,
and it will be delivered to you.
Oh, great.
And they're discounting. It's like 30% off now before it's released.
All right, so available on Amazon, so it's perfect. I will order it, and I will be one of your first readers in France.
Oh, thank you. Merci beaucoup. I appreciate that. I can't wait to hear what you think.
So, another question. So, for this book, how long did you take to write this book? All this stuff. How long did you take to write this book?
The book has taken approximately a little over a year.
All right.
And I've gone through about 6 different edits. It's an amazing experience to write a book because you literally have to open up your heart. You have to open up yourself to being able to put everything out there. Because the last thing I want to write is a boring book that you can just read about on the internet.
Uh-huh.
You know?
So, what is your best memory inside the Octagon, Bruce?
I have more memories than I can remember because I've probably forgotten more than I can remember.
Yeah.
I've missed 2 shows in 17 years. I have the ability to see the greatest warriors in the world. I've seen all the fantastic wars, you know, the Randy Couture, Pedro Hizzo wars.
Oh yeah.
The battle between Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonner, the Clay Guida fights that happened, the amazing battles with Beach. It's on and on and on. Every time I think I've seen the best fight, 3 months later another fight happens, and all of a sudden I think it's the best fight I've seen.
That's true. And do you have like complicity inside the Octagon with fighters when you announce the fighter? Always, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe Dan Hardy, you have a good complicity with him when he's like, when you are cheering like him, you know. So.
Well, you know, the thing with Dan is that I concentrate on the fighters. I don't even recognize the audience when I'm in the Octagon. I'm so focused. And if you notice the way the passion I throw out on the Octagon floor when I announce is all because, to me, it's all about those 2 great warriors at hand. My eyes never leave their eyes. I'm very much into them. I sometimes get, very close up into their faces. Dan does this. Dan's like this, bringing me in, and he's saying back to me everything that I'm saying to him. He's saying it all back to me while I say it. It's kind of like two rock singers singing a duet.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. It's definitely, he's one of my favorites, there's no question.
Do you have to do exercises for your voice before the UFC? Do you train your voice like a singer or?
Yeah, like a singer, I'll do a couple of exercises that will open up my, my throat and open up my voice box. But outside of that, I never rehearse. I don't sit in my room. I don't go to the shower and, say, Randy, it's not about that. I never do that. It's just I get out there, I feed off the energy of the crowd, and that's what gets me going.
All right. And do you used to do sports to be in shape and to be Yeah. Do you still train?
I trained. I mean, I earned a black belt in Tang Soo Do. I've been in martial arts all my life, and to me, heavily in my 20s, in my early 30s, all I did was surf and kickbox. That's all I did.
All right.
That's how I stayed in shape. I never even started lifting weights until my mid-20s.
And what about poker?
What about it?
So you still play in a high level for poker? You used to play tournaments?
Yes, as a matter of fact, on Sunday, right after I do the UFC in Anaheim, I'm going into the World Poker Tour main event here in LA, and it's $10,000 to enter. There'll be about 500 entries, so the prize pool will be around 5 to 6 million. And then if I make the final table, it'll be on TV, which I have made the final table before in this event.
Okay, great. So it's another passion, and so you play a lot. You have to train to play poker also. Yeah, it takes you a lot of time.
Well, yeah, but the training is kind of like practicing in the octagon. The only practice I've ever got is the shows I've done over the last 17 years. Mm-hmm. And poker, the best training you can get is to play the game. Yeah,
good word. Another last question for French fans, French MMA fans. Would you be glad to announce a UFC in Paris?
Oh my goodness, of course. I'd be ecstatic. I would, after that show, I'd spend a day in Paris and I'd get right down to Cannes and Monte Carlo. As a matter of fact, if they have the show in Monte Carlo, which I heard rumored a couple of years ago,
oh yeah,
I won't be just flying in and out like I've done for many shows. I'll be staying there, trust me, for a few days.
Have you ever been once in Paris or I don't know in France, apart Monte Carlo? Yeah.
I was first in France when I was 11 years old.
Okay.
I actually lived for a month in Biarritz in a villa on the beach there. It was the first time I ever saw surfing. And then I've been back to Paris 3 times since then. I've been to the south of France a couple of times too. I love France. Absolutely love it.
Great. So yeah, donc I will speak in French. Donc vous pouvez retrouver le livre de Bruce prochainement donc sur Amazon. Donc voilà, c'est l'autobiographie signée de Bruce. Donc il raconte toute son expérience à l'UFC, donc plein d'anecdotes, je pense beaucoup de choses à lire. Moi personnellement, donc je vais la lire, je vais être l'un des premiers à la lire et à la commander. Donc voilà, je vous recommande de lire son bouquin. Je pense que voilà, ça va être super intéressant. So thank you very much, Bruce, for this time, for this interview.
Thank you, I appreciate it very much. I couldn't have said it better than you just said, of course.
All right.
But also too, this is my new clothing company that will be opening up later this year.
Okay.
And this is It's Time Industries. We're going to have a wide, very, very cool company. It's not MMA skulls and crossbones. This is a very, very cool and stylish company. I think you're going to be very happy.
Oh, great. So yeah, we will still look at it. And thank you very much again, Bruce.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.